Alright, everybody, we're back here again, this time entering the 90s in our Ozzy Osbourne album review series. Entering with 1991's, but that was supposed to be his final album. Of course, that wouldn't end up happening, but at the time, he thought it was. No More Tears. And if anybody's been watching my channel or any of my reviews or anything like that, you guys know I don't do any represses or anything like that. So this is actually one of my rarest pieces of my vinyl collection. It goes for about like 300 something bucks. I luckily got me a copy for about 120. So I got kind of lucky there, but definitely one of my most prized possessions in my collection. And you got a cool shot of the band here. Mike Inez actually is featured on the back. It's the same lineup as No Rest for the Wicked. It's set, or actually no, it is just the same lineup. Mike Inez was actually only credited to one song on here, the title track, and of course he would go on to tour with the band, and then eventually would go on to Alice in Chains. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the production here. I've talked about it before on I think on a Dio album review or something. Or I may have done it a couple times, but this is like prime production for me. When I think of a awesome produced album, I think of this thing right here. The low end is super, super crisp and clean. The guitar tone on this thing is incredible. Some of Ozzy's best vocal work on this thing. So, and I'll go ahead and say too that I said last time on the No Rest for the Wicked review that that was Zakk Wylde's best guitar work. But I'm going to take that back and go ahead with this. I mean, this is more refined, but he does do some pretty crazy shredding stuff as well. But yeah, and what an incredible album. Randy Castillo again on drums just kills it. Just bangs on them drums like with a big powerful effect. But we open up with one of my favorite Ozzy songs. You're going to hear that a couple times on this album, just like some of the other ones. Mr. Tinker Train. Maybe my favorite Ozzy breakdown of all time. That, it's such a heavy, fast-paced song that Ozzy's great about that, just kicking you right into gear with his openers, with like Over the Mountain, Miracle Man, and stuff like that, which is awesome. And then this may be my favorite Ozzy opener, Mr. Tinker Train. Super kind of creepy vocals, the bass tone on is just incredible, and again that breakdown. Then this was a big hit off there. I Don't Want to Change the World, another really cool song, great melody. It just absolutely breathtaking vocal melodies on this thing throughout, but that song's really cool. Then you got another just badass breakdown. Then you've got the biggest hit off here, and it's actually Mother's Day as I'm recording and posting this here, so track number 3, Mama, I'm Coming Home. Did not plan that at all, but I was just thinking about that. And, this is one of Ozzy's biggest hits, period, and it really just is a ballad. But, I think it's a really pretty song, great vocal work, very powerful. Not my favorite off here, but again, it's one of those hits to me that I'm not really tired of. When it comes on the album, it has its place, fits perfect on there. Then you got a deep cut off here, Desire. What a freaking riff on this one. And, Zakk Wylde's riffs, I think, are just, and while I love the squealing stuff from Zakk Wylde, like that's kind of what made him famous and all that. He does a little bit less of it on here than what he does throughout some other albums, especially off less here than No Rest for the Wicked. But yeah, Desire, man, what an incredible song, and super, the guitar tone on that track, particularly during the chorus, it just kicks you in the gut, I'm telling you. Love it. Then you've got the epic on the album, the title track, another big hit, and for damn good reason, because that is an epic track. That song is one of the best produced songs, we're going to nail it down to that particular, I've ever heard. With the way the bass goes, that bass line that Mike Inez wrote, which, he's one of my favorite bass players of all time. I love his stuff on Jar of Flies, Alice in Chains Jar of Flies EP, did really cool bass work on there. But, this just showed you what he was about, writing that, and just from the really haunting riff and lyrics and vocals to the breakdown here, which is it's got orchestral thing going on, the keys and piano, and it's just a beautiful song. It's an absolute masterpiece of a track. Any Ozzy fan should know it. Side 2 opens up with one of the most underrated Ozzy tracks ever to me. It's also like up there. It's one of my favorites. Sin. Man, you talk about literally the whole track is just hooking. The verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus. And the solo, one of my favorite Zakk Wylde solos. That ending solo there, he just tears it up with this little bit of a bluesy side to him, which he really taps into that blues style on this record. Then you got another ballad, Time After Time. Another really good one. I really like the lyrics, and again, just the kind of smoother Ozzy vocals. This album's a big mix of all the different kinds of stuff Ozzy likes to do on his solo records, which I really like. Then you've got Zombie Stop, really cool bass line going on there. A little bit of a corny lyric in the chorus, but I like it. It's kind of reminds me of that 80s Ozzy stuff, off something like Bark at the Moon or, Ultimate Sin, the kind of over-the-top stuff. So I really like Zombie Stomp. Then you've got AVH. I'd say that maybe my least favorite off there, but I do really dig that song too. Another incredible Zakk Wylde solo. The chorus isn't as hooky as the verses, in my opinion, but yet again, really good song. Then he closed it off with a beautiful, it would have been a beautiful way to end too if this happened to be his last album. Road to Nowhere. Very powerful lyrics. Ozzy just reflecting, back on his crazy life. So, such a cool freaking song. And, this is just an absolute masterpiece of an album. I've said that about a couple already through these reviews. Not all of them, but a couple of them are. And this is one of those. It's that perfect blend of the ballads, the heavy tracks, and the ones that just punch you in the gut. And then, of course, the epics. This thing has it all, and this is like an essential Ozzy record to me. The production is some of the best production I've ever heard on any album, and mad props to that. So yeah, if Ozzy happened to go out on this thing, which I'm glad he didn't, as you'll see, I liked the albums after this. This would have been a good farewell record, but we'll look at next time where his comeback record, 1996. I believe it was either 96 or 95, Osmosis, which we got quite a bit of a lineup change, actually, which is pretty cool. Adds to a different sound, a different production style. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. I'd love to hear what everybody thinks about this album. I know it's got some overrated hits, or what people like to say, but I dig it all off here. Incredible record. Thanks guys.